Hey everybody, how are you? Welcome to the Monday webinar here. I appreciate everybody here. This is Rick with Hit Run Candlesticks. I'm on the live trading. I'm in the live trading alerts trading room, as you guys are, and I'm hosting a webinar here. So let's try to have some fun. Ask questions. Let's try to find the next best stock. And well, that's what we're here for, isn't it? We want that winner. We want that winner. A couple things I want to share this morning. I've closed my VLO. That was a pretty nice trade. It's a rounded bottom breakout strategy. That's worked out really well. I'm still holding Oxy. Oxy's doing very well. Still looking for maybe the 200 period moving average up here. I'm going to give it a little more time today, but that's doing pretty well. Okay, so where are we here? Let's see. Hey, aloha, Lee. Rajdran. Sorry if I messed it up. Hey, Dakron. Mutho, Rick B. Lee, Judy Lynn. It's the only names I can see there. Again, welcome and thank you for being here. Let's see, the recorder is on. What I want to start with is the SPY here. Let's just take a look at the overall general market. And I have to say without a shadow of a doubt that the bulls still control the overall trend. The sellers for a very short period and may even still have a little control the last few days, but the overall trend still belongs to the bulls. If anyone disagrees with that, please let me know. Let's talk about it, because maybe there's something here I don't see. Okay. So with that, I want to talk about today. We'll talk about anything. If anyone has any questions, by all means, throw them out there. But outside of that, I want to talk about the tools that you use. And, you know, I'm not going to be thumping LTA. So don't, all I was going to do is talk about LTA. That's not what I'm going to do. I want everybody to be a successful trader. Ed wants everybody to be a successful trader. But it does require tools. For instance, your brain is a tool. Candlesticks are a tool. You know, moving averages are tools. Everything you look at on a chart is a tool. Some people can get by just fine with a naked chart. That's a tool. That's a tool. Can you imagine going out and buying a socket set and you get home and you realized all you bought were the sockets and not the ratchet wrench? Well, that's a tool that's not complete. So you've got to have a complete tool. And maybe that complete tool is, maybe to you, this is a complete tool. Maybe it is. For me, this is a complete tool as far as the chart goes. Now, I have other tools that I work with to trade. And I want to share something here, because what right do I have to talk about tools? A few years ago, I took a $5,000 account and I turned it into, I think, just shy of 80,000 in 12 months. I think it was, maybe it was 16 months. I don't know. I'll have to go back and look. But I definitely doubled my account. I trade 3 different accounts right now for 3 different reasons. And this is what one account looks like. Okay. There's gains and losses. This is a bigger account. And And, you know, what right do I have to talk about the right tools? Well, I figured this right here gives me the right. I figured that gives me the right to do that. And so that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to talk about the tools that we trade. And no one tool is the perfect tool. No one tool at all is the perfect tool. Not everybody should have the same tool, because not all tools are for you. So, you know, you just have to make that conscious decision. What is it you want? And make it work. Also, another thing too, is if you're searching for tools to use, just stop. Just stop where you are right now and just use what you have, okay? There is no one tool better than the other. It's all how you use the tools is what it is. And I think that's important. Now I'm going to go through every tool I use. This is moving averages. I use the T-line, the Trendicator, the 50-period moving average, the 500 simple. Sometimes it's on here, sometimes it's not. I use the dotted deuce and the 200-period moving average. Those are my tools. From here, I can spot things like, you know, candlestick signals. I can see J-hook setups. I can see failure setups. I can see flag setups, both, you know, bullish and bearish. I can see what the trend is, both bullish and bearish. And so this is a tool. One sec, Wayne, and I'll be more than happy to tell you, okay? This is a tool I use. I use this T2123, both 15-minute and 60-minute. This is a tool for me. This can be found on TC2000. Some of you have it, some of you don't. This is not one of these tools that I particularly think you ought to go out and just buy TC2000 to have it. I think it's a great tool, but I'm not here saying, oh man, dump what you have and get TC2000. Not particularly saying that. But I use that tool. That's part of my toolkit. Part of my toolkit is the scanner. Let's see, is there anything else before that? Not really. You know, part of the tool is the scanner, and from here, you know, it's really. I want to back up for a minute. I'm going to put this back. It's really kind of funny. You guys all know that Ed does a webinar on Wednesdays, and Ed will ask, well, somebody will ask for, undoubtedly somebody asks for, I want the chart, I want the setup that's going to make me money. And it doesn't work that way. Well, in a way it does. I've got setups that make me money. I share them all the time. But if you don't know what they don't mean anything to you. So, but one thing Ed will say is you have to know what you want, and then we can set it up for you. And people don't know what they want. So that is something very, very important. And the best thing to do is look at a chart and use the chart as a description. So if you see this chart here and you happen to like this chart, and you happen to like the pullbacks like that, and if you happen to like the fact that it rallies, well, we can write a scan for that. That's basically what most of my scans do. It really is. That is 99% of all my scans are basically this right here. They might, you know, one scan might go around the mountain a different way, but we're going to that same place. So anyway, the scanner is one of my tools, but you have to know what you want. You really do. And once you have all that and you can put all the tools together, then you still need to use that tool that's between your ears, okay? You really do. Good old common sense and logic you have to use. So you have to have a certain amount of tools, and everyone's going to have to decide what they are for yourselves. I can't decide that for you. If you wanted me to decide for you, I would say you need LTA, you need TC2000, and the rest of it is all a matter of putting the right stuff on the screen. To me, that's the right tools. But to say Mike or Paul or Wayne or Malcolm, Emma, Byron, aloha there, you guys all might have, you know, different tools for different reasons. So, but you have to have these tools, as few or as many as you like, as long as they're working for you. Okay. So let me get up here and answer Malcolm first. I'd like to know a little bit more about your hold on Oxy, sure. And then Wayne, I'll come down to you, okay? Is it because you took profits on VLO? Well, let's start with VLO. So VLO, part of the reason, this is no kidding, part of the reasons I took profits on VLO is because I did an email, I sent an email out with a video on it that I was going to close VLO today. I did this yesterday, and by God, I did that. Plus, I happen to think 30% is plenty good money. Now, it can go higher. I'm more of the type of trader that, you know, take profits into the swing, let it pull back, and then swing it again. So right now, I think we're a little too stretched out on the swing. So it needs to rest a little bit. So I'm very happy with that money on that. Now, Oxy, I'm going to close that if we can get closer to the 200 period moving average right here. I use moving averages an awful lot. That is a major tool for me. And when I say major, it is huge for me, moving averages. I like to trade from one to another, whether it's from, you know, the bottom up or from the top down. I like to see price action trapped between them. A lot of my setups are set up that way, and I do mean a lot. All about the moving averages. So here we are. This is a rounded bottom breakout strategy is what this is, and that's breaking out of the 50 period moving average. And we're just about at this place where I need to sell it, because this is where I'm going to use the tool between my ears, okay? And just some good old-fashioned common sense. And for those that don't believe me, what I'd like you to do after this webinar, please don't do it during it, but after the webinar, I would like you to go outside. I'd like you to pick a rock up, and I'd like you to throw it in the sky. And I'd like you to come back and just tell us all what it did, right? Well, we're all grown-ups here. We know what it did. You threw it up in the sky, and it came right back down, didn't it? Well, what do you think a chart's going to do when it gets too high? It's going to do the same doggone thing. And I can prove that. Just go look at the chart. That's a tool right there. Use the tool. Use the tool between your ears. Use some common sense. What happens to a chart when it gets too high? Now, there's always that question. Well, what's too high? Well, that's a good question. And whenever, I don't know that everybody can agree on, well, what's too high. Now, I can say, what is it? If you have a $5,000 account, and you're up, I don't know, somewhere around $30, well, you're on track to double your money. Now, I'm betting, well, I shouldn't bet that. I guess it depends how many shares you buy or how many contracts you buy. But this stock right here, you're probably up a bit more than 30 bucks. You know, I'm gonna venture, I don't know, a couple hundred. Okay, if you're in options, you're in a couple $100 on this. So remember, it costs 30, or it's 30 bucks to double your money a year. Well, how much is enough? And this is where just use some common sense, for God's sakes. That's what this is. And take your money, because you've just accomplished something that is truly amazing. And in 12 months, you could double your money by doing this. Now, you're going to have losses, okay? There's no doubt about that. But with the right tools, the right training, the right education, what'll happen is you'll learn to make better trades, more higher probable trades, that gives you more of these and less of the say of the losses. And the goal is not to make as much as you can in trading. That's just ridiculous. The goal is to set a goal, set a plan, and trade with that plan. So, for instance, I'm really big on doubling your account in 12 months. Now, what if I don't double my account in 12 months? Who cares? You know, what if I turn $100,000 into only 150? You know, anybody going to shoot me? Is anybody going to say, you know, if this was your account, Dumpling, Malcolm, Mike, Paul, Wayne, you know, if this was your account and you turned it into 150, but your goal was to double it to make it 200K, are you going to get pissed off, punch a wall, and say, screw it, and give that $50,000 back? No, you're not. So, anyway, let's go back to the tool. You have to have the tools that get the job done. And everybody's tools is different. There's no doubt about it. You know, there's no doubt about it. Whoops. When I see, here, let me make this stay on top. Stay on top. There we go. So when I see something like SLB popping up, then I'm going to go take a look at it. Now inside here I'm assuming I have something. Yeah, I have a little something in there. A little something, something. Those are my tools. So when I see it coming up, then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to use the tool between my ears now and decide, is that a chart I want to buy? Is it doing what I want it to do? For instance, do I have heartburn with this gap? Well, I just might. So maybe what I'll do is pass on this and wait for the next one. Because here's a little tidbit. I wrote this down somewhere. I hope I can remember how it went. Here's a little tidbit for you. It's not what you pay for the chart, whether you pay here or you pay here for it. It's not what you pay for the chart. It's what the chart does after you pay for it. All right? This is important. You know, I see people going goo goo gaga over a chart like this, where I have a little bit of heartburn buying it right here, because this thing majorly failed in a major way. So prove to me that you can get over that failure. I'm just going to go right here, right there. And as a trader, one of the tools I have is this scar on my left thigh. That's from buying the wrong things at the wrong time. I've got a scar on my right ankle over here that says it's scarred up because I kept trying to buck the trend and go opposite the trend. So the scars on my legs and arms from trading, they find their way up between my ears, and I use that tool. So I've got a tool between my ears because of the scars that says, you know, maybe be a little patient on this. Maybe Wells Fargo is a better trade. Aha. See, I'm looking at Wells Fargo now. Now, because of the tools I have on my chart, notice it started with this tool right here. This is the scanner. Now, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to look at the tools on my chart, which is the trend, the T-line, the trend indicator. I can see it's above the 200 and the 50 period moving average. If you want to make that a rule, that's not particularly a rule for me on every trade, but if you want to make it a rule, then it becomes a tool. I can see here we're above the 500 period moving average. That's that's a benefit maybe. We've got a rally, a nice little pullback. I love that. But wait, I've got other tools. My T2123, 15-minute is bullish, 60-minute is bullish, so I'm good. You know, while we're here, let's just look at the SPY. What's the SPY doing? I can see here daily. Whoops, daily. There we go. I can see the SPY is bullish. So my tools are working. So now we'll come back over here. What chart was that? Was it Wells Fargo? There we go. So Wells Fargo might be a buy for me now. Now, you know, I might decide, well, let's just see what today does at the end of the day, because I don't need to rush into a trade. So, well, geez, what if it's way up here? Oh my. You know, what if it's up here? So what? It's not what you pay for the chart that makes you money. It's what the chart does after you buy it. So if you buy quality, everything lining up, everything in your favor, and that's utilizing your tools, you've got a trade. Look what tool it started with right here. Now, you know, you could do this if you want. This is what we did years ago. It really is. I mean, this is what we did years ago. We wrote some scans, and then we would just thumb through charts like this and wait for that setup. That's a pretty good looking chart right there. What is that? WKHS. I like that. And that's what we would do right there all day long. So with the invention of more technology, you know, there are more tools that come out, and anyway, this is one of them. So I'll quit talking about this. I still need to answer that. What is the dotted deuce answer? So take a look at that. Nice bullish J-hook setup here. Let me answer that dotted deuce question before I forget about it. So the dotted deuce, there we go. The dotted deuce was mainly created for the rounded bottom breakout. I've since put it everywhere because it works out so well. And it's this dotted red line right here. And what it is, let me share it with you. It's easier to share this than anything. Where to go? There we go. It is the 200 period moving average. The average type is front weighted, and it's the average of the low. Okay, 200 front weighted low is what it is. Took a long time to figure that out, but that's a different webinar, different story. Thanks for asking. Hope that helped. If you have any other questions here, Wayne, let me know. Okay. Dumpling. It comes down. It comes down and hit yourself. Malcolm says, working on confidence in the execution of your plan. Let's see, we cannot know what the market is going to do. We can only expect our plan with high degree of discipline. That's right. So that's actually an excellent point. So when I look at this, right here, I'm going to execute my plan. I'm going to use my plan to execute a trade, and my plan does everything possible to put the advantage in my favor. But there's always a chance that it's going to fail. With that is trading, and if you can't handle that, then you need to go get a job or quit trading. That is the fact of trading, and you cannot get away from that. You cannot get away that somebody's going to take some money from you. It is just a fact. What we want to do is we want to limit how much or how many times, and we want to limit how much, and that's what we use stops for and things like that. But here are my tools in action. The market is bullish. T2122, both 15 and 60 minute, are bullish. I can look over here on the scanner, and the stocks that are in the scanner, not just the one, not just this 18, but the all amount that's in there, is those stocks are 68% green versus 32% red. I see an advantage here. So now I want to be looking for where or when a stock is moving. So let's take Adobe, since we've already looked at Wells Fargo. Look at Adobe. Well, Adobe is making a new high right now. I like that. That's what I like. Now, some people don't like that. Some people would rather buy charts like this. And they've since puked and were stopped out. That's why I don't play that game. I would rather buy charts moving up, showing me strength, because I realize in my 30 plus years of trading, it is not what you pay for the chart that makes you money. It is what the chart does after you buy it. That's what you're looking at. But it happens. Some people just have to do this. So they buy low, on the cheap, and they puke all over themselves when it dips down. They close it out and it goes back up, and they don't know what's going on. Well, what's going on? There were no buyers there. So I put all the tools in my favor for me to make a trade, is what I do. Okay? Robbie, what constitutes a change in a sell signal? Candle sell, price move below the T line, or T line below the trend indicator. Well, now, Robbie, that's a question. It depends what trade you're buying. Sometimes I can tell you right now, everything I do is going to be in that area. And I do mean everything. Everything. And what I mean by this area, it's going to be around the recent high. It's going to be around or near the T line, or around or near the trend indicator. So depending on what chart I buy, it might be a close below the T line, or a close below the trend indicator, or just a candlestick signal by itself. There's no one that I particularly use. I have multiple tools. Okay, so I'm not looking at just one thing here. I'm looking at other things. Now, if you are looking for any one of those, then stop looking and do it. And I don't mean to be a smarty pants about that. I'm being dead serious. For instance, if you want to use the T line, why not? And let me prove to you how it works. Right there would be a buy. Yes, it crossed the T line. Would you have sold it? Nope, didn't close below. Would you sell it? Nope, didn't close below. Would you sell it right here? Yeah, I would guess you would have. But you can see here the bucket of money you made, well, where was it? From here to there. Okay, so for me, it's not just one thing. I've got several tools to help me look at a chart. I share every single one of them here. Every single one of them. Let's look at Oxy. You know what tool I'm going to use? Or VLO, because that one, in fact, is closed. You know what tool I use to close that? Good old common sense. That's it. There's no sell signal here. There's no reason to sell this based on this chart other than it's, you know, rallied up too far. Just good old common sense. Oxy's going to be the same way. By the way, all these started with this tool right here, right there, right there. Ding, 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 ding. Started with that tool right there. Okay? Oh, thanks, Ed. I have something to show you guys here a little bit. Before we go, I'll show you. So that was one thing. So Robbie, if you're going to use the trend indicator, which I happen to really dig the trend indicator. Now, you could do this with the T-line if you want. I like the red and green dots here. I'm going to go back here and go over here. No price action. You could change the trend indicator to look, you know, red and green. So if you're going to trade the red and green tool, if you're going to trade that, then you want to buy close to that. You want to buy close to wherever you're going to put your stop. You don't want to buy far away from your stop. Okay? And any one of those things you mentioned there is perfect. Do one, learn it, maybe do the other and learn it. And you know, 6-7 months down the road, all of a sudden you've got some tools that you can put to work and work well. You great tools. Now just use one and make sense of it. Okay? So Michael, do you have TC2000? Michael's asking about T2123. And you know what? No, yeah. Then Google what it is, okay? Google what it is, because what you're going to try to do is take whatever program you have and you're going to try to build it. Go ahead. That's fine. But I would Google what it is. In a nutshell, it's taken highs and lows over the past 4 weeks is what it does. I break it down to 15 and 60 minutes. But in a nutshell, it's just measuring new highs, new lows in a 4-week period. Okay? But I would Google it, read up on it, and then you can maybe build it for whatever program you're using. That's what everybody does. I don't think it works out very well, but that's what everybody tries. Let's see, BBB, do you look for higher and lower time frames to determine entry? If I could say a cuss word here, a really, really bad one, like not shit, I can say that. Or damn, I can say that. But the really bad one I want to say is an absolutely no, BBB. You know, blank, no. And here's, I got to tell you, I do coaching. I do a lot of coaching. I help a lot of people out privately. If there was one single number one thing that I end up helping them with, is to get away from intraday charts. Okay? You're not a believer yet, I can tell, because you asked the question. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, no one's a believer until they are. And some people it takes years. Okay? Some people it takes years. So I'm going to say this one more time. It's not what you pay for it. It's what the chart does after you pay for it. That's what counts. So screwing around with some fancy-pantsy entry is a waste of your age. It's a waste of life, if you ask me. So let's say I was going to buy Ben. All right. I would buy Ben right now. I wouldn't look at a 15-minute chart. I wouldn't try to get, oh man, it's 29.70. Nope. You know what? I'm going to pay 29.67 for it. Oh my God. That's a waste of life, in my opinion. What you're after is you're after charts that look like they're going to continue their trend. That's where you make money. And you buy it in that area. Okay? Now, let me put a little, well, here's where you might look intraday. If you currently do it and you're successful, keep doing it. It's really, really simple. It really, really is. If you are making money in your account and your account is going up like this, now you're going to have down days, you know, things like that. Everyone does. I showed you my account. I have down days. But if your account is going up, keep doing exactly what you're doing. Just perfect it. Maybe little, you know, that's kind of big, isn't it? Maybe little tweaks here and there. Just little tweaks. On the other hand, if your account is for the most part doing this, or maybe just flat going nowhere, maybe you just should try investing in tools. And I'm not using the word invest, go spend money. You already have a charting package. Invest in the tools that you have. You know, if you have the scanner, invest in the scanner. And I don't mean more money. What I mean is more time. I say this a lot for folks, especially for folks that are struggling or new folks. Don't even try to make money the first 3 months. I don't know why. I don't know why people do that. I really don't. Well, that's not true. I do too know why. Trading is very much gambling. It really, really is. Okay. And we want to put we want to put all advantages in our favor, just like Las Vegas has put their advantages to them. I mean, the advantages is they're going to win. So we want to do the same thing. Be a copycat here. Learn from Vegas because we're gambling. So invest in your tools, the ones you already have. So, you know, take things like this. We already looked at Wells Fargo, so let's look at Baidu here. So how can I trade Baidu? Don't run into that trade. Take 3 months and learn how to trade. But what happens is everybody seems to think that they have an extra monitor and, good Lord, a mouse and a keyboard. Yeehaw! They're going to be a trader, and they lose all their money. And have you ever noticed with anybody that's quit stock trading, and I bet you some people here are close to that, that you blame it on everything but yourself. Everything but yourself. You never took the time to learn how to trade. You never had the right tools. You never made the investment. You never made the investment. You know, you go to college these days, I don't know. You guys might know more than I do. I'm just going to put $50,000 up here. If somebody wants to throw out another number, I'll write it up there. You spend $50K to go to college. What does it cost to actually take 3 months to invest in the right tools and learn how to trade? What's it take, huh? I should do that math. What, $1,000 at the very most? The very most? 3? Well, maybe close. Maybe close. So here, Most people go to college and they get a job that doesn't have anything to do what they paid their $50K for. But yet, nobody will take the time to learn to trade. They just, I have a monitor. Whoa, let's trade. I downloaded the scanner. Okay, let's trade. Doesn't work that way. So invest in your tools and have the right tools. All right. Let's see. Here, let me go. Bot BBB. Oh, Wayne. Let me go in order here. Wayne. You're going to steal it. Go ahead, sir. Let's see. BBB makes sense. Buy now. Buy. How about weekly resistance is right there? Pick a stock and let's look. Oh, you did pick a stock. It did it to me on TLT. All right. Now, I'm not sure what you mean. Let me read your thing again here. Makes sense. Makes sense. Buy. How about weekly resistance is right there where you want to buy it on the daily. It did it to me on TLT when I didn't look at the weekly chart. Well, you don't have to look at the weekly chart. I've been saying all along, I've had several people ask me, TLT, is that a buy? No. No. Excuse me. I've been saying all along it needs to break out. I've never looked at the weekly chart. I'm not saying I've never looked at the weekly chart. I actually look at higher time frames more than I look at intraday. But I can tell you that, and I don't need the weekly chart. I can tell you that in a heartbeat. So, is this a buy? Not till it breaks out here. What about here? See that rally up, pullback? That's a buy. And you could have made a few bucks here. Could have made a nice little, whatever that is, a few bucks right there. Well, yeah, it's not a buy. So let's go look at the weekly. There's your resistance. Can you not see it on the daily? Yeah. It's all right there. It really is. For instance, let's talk about TLT. Okay, let's talk about this a little bit more. So I look at TLT. I can clearly see there's a chart and a downtrend. I don't need to draw a trend line on it. I can clearly see that. I can see a chart that's coming off the bottom, rallies up and pulls back. Hey, I might want to trade this. Well, do I? Do I really? Let's see. Let's just see if I can buy it here, because I can tell you right now, that's where I would close it, at the 200 period moving average. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about this. There is no questions, no issues. That is a tool that I use 100% of the time. I use moving averages. I believe moving averages are resistance and support. I believe moving averages are targets and launching pads. So if I buy this in here, I'm going to take my money. Now let's go take a look at this. How much money would I make? A whopping 1.4%. Why would I want to trade TLT? Because somebody else traded it? Maybe. Just answer yourself that question. Somebody told you to? Maybe. Or, look at your tools. See this over here on the left side of my screen? Watch it pop up. That's a tool. And I can measure from here to here, and that's only 1.5%. Why in the world would I want to trade a trade that's running into resistance that's only going to pay me 1.5%? I used a tool on my screen, and I used a tool between my brain, between my ears. Okay? Use your tools. Don't use what you think about interest rates. That's not a tool. That's a gut issue, and you go to the bathroom to resolve that, or Pepto-Bismol maybe. But your gut issues on interest rates is not a tool. Alrighty? I hope that was helpful. Why are there different prices on the screen? Oh, that's because it's moving up. it changes with price. So it's like Wells Fargo went from 46.80 to 46.81. It went from 46.78, 46.79, 80, 81, making a new high is what it's doing. Okay. C, but if you shorted, oh, okay, you're getting all fancy there. We're not going to go there. Do you trail bigger profits or just quickly sell? I'm a profit trader. This is a good time for me to show you something. Ed, let me get there really quick. I want to, members, you have this. Let's see. Let me go look. Oops, don't click that. Click that. What's that thing called? Account planner. Oh, look at that. So members of Hit and Run Candlesticks, Right Way Options, or BYOB, I'm assuming it's there. It was just loaded up, so on the Hit and Run side. I'm assuming it's over there for Right Way Options or BYBO. See this account planner here? So watch this. Let me click on this. This is the first time I've looked at it over here. Nope, there it is. So say you have a $10,000 account. We'll just come over here and just type in 10,000. Hit enter. Whoops. I wish I could make that mistake all the time. I have a $10,000 account, and to double it to a $20,000 account, all I've got to make is $47.62 a day. That's all. Net. So at the end of the day, all my losses, all my gains, that's all I have to do to double my money. So let's answer your question here. Let me go back and read this. Do you trail for bigger profits or just quickly sell? First of all, there's nothing wrong with trailing for bigger profits, okay? There's nothing wrong with that at all. So by all means, don't be afraid to do that. On the other hand, here's what I do. So let's say I was to buy FCX, which I'm going to be considering it. Maybe not today. I was to buy FCX. Now I'm going to buy contracts. So let's say I buy 6 contracts because I'm going to buy directional options. I buy 6. And let's just say for the sake of argument, I buy it right here. So it's going to go up. Now, what was it? I had to make, let's just round it up to $48 a day. Okay. When I move this up, when I get this to a point of $48 plus, I don't close it right at $48, or I don't take a partial off $48. I mean, if the chart is doing this, moving up, who am I to get in its way? Let it keep going. So what may happen, this $48 might turn into $100, might turn into $150, might turn into $200. Because at this point, I'm managing the trade. Now, at some point, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to close some of this. Now, I might close 3 contracts. There we go. I might close 3, especially if it's a quick little pop. I'll close 3, keep half, and then they can, keep doing whatever they do. Or if it moves up enough, I might close the whole thing. Okay? It's about management, but you have to know what you're doing. This is a tool right here. This is a tool. This is an important tool. Who would have ever thought? Now, seriously, when I was a couple years ago, between 3 and 4 years ago, when I took $5,000 account, moved it into just under an $80,000 account, who in the world would have ever thought that a $5,000 account all you needed to do was $23.81 a day net to double your money in 12 months. Come on. Did anyone here really realize that? Anyone? I'm betting not. Because when we do stock trading, you know what we do? Here's exactly what we do. We have $5,000 to our name, or whatever you have, okay? And if somebody was to say, well, let's shoot for doubling your money, you know what you do? All you do is look at $10,000. Oh my God, that just makes me go nuts. How in the world? I've worked for the last 10 years to save $10,000. How on God's green earth am I going to turn $5,000 into $10,000 in 12 months? The common sense in my head says bullshit. That I can say. That's exactly what the common sense says. But all of a sudden, wait a minute. All I've got to make is, we're going to round it to $24. $24 a day based on a $210 trading year. That builds in holidays, natural stock days, stock holidays, time off, sick, you know, things like that. That's the number I use right there. This right here is manageable. Going from this to this is not manageable. It's too much. It's over our heads. Here's a chart that I'm scoping out, and it's coming up on my tool. My number one tool right here. AR. I'm scoping this out. I'm liking this. That may be a trade for me. So let's think about this. Okay, it's here. Let me put this right here. I'll make it stay on top. It's coming up on my number one tool. Now let's go use the rest of the chart for our tools. All right, here, let's do this. Okay, how much money do I need to make? Let's just use a $5,000 account. Let's round it to $24. All I got to make is $24. Oh, cool. That means really what I want is $50, $100, and then I can close half or close it all. That's really what I want. But I know my minimum. I know my minimum. Okay? Now watch this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to dial in the SPY, because the market has got to be in my favor. Market's bullish. Trend indicator's green. Price is above the T line. Everything looks good, really. Yeah. I mean, I have my question over here. But don't needle it. It's bullish. It's bullish. 15-minute chart on T2123 is bullish. 60-minute is bullish. I'm good. So now let's come over here and go back to AR. AR above the T-line. T-line's above the trend indicator. Rock and roll. Buyers are coming into it. Clearly can see that. Notice here it went from 24.57 to 58 to 59 to 60. That all tells me there's buyers nibbling away at it. So why not buy it? Here I am in my area from the recent high. There's the trend indicator. And if I want to tighten that up, there's the T line. If I want to tighten that up a little bit more, there's yesterday's low. It's about what it does after you pay for it. So if I buy this now, I can see we're sitting here at the dotted deuce. So if this thing goes anywhere below, let's make this, let's change this to red and make it just big and fat. There we go. Anything below 24.05, I'm not going to like this chart. I'm going to wish I wasn't in it. So I'm going to get out of it. Not all charts work out. They don't. So now, remember, how much do I have to make? $24, that's all. You guys know, do you buy stock or you buy contracts? You do whatever you do. You don't need to tell me. But let's say you buy it right there. What if this thing moved up? You know, let's do it this way. So you buy it, whoops, right there. And let's say I'm going to split the middle of the 500 and the 200 period moving average. 10.6%. Let me ask you, can I get a big hell yes on this? If it moves up 10.6%, are you going to make $24? Are you going to accomplish what you need to do? I'll wait for a few answers. There you go. Thank you, Rick B. All right, let me answer BBB. Why look at T2123? You know, I'm not going to turn this into a T2123 class. I have proved, and if you don't have TC2000, then none of this will matter to you, and you won't care 5 minutes after we close up here today. If you have TC2000, you're going to download it. You're going to put it on your screen, okay? I have found that just about 99% of the time that if I'm going to put it up here, okay? Make it bigger. There you go. And I'm going to turn it into a 15-minute because I watched only the 15-minute and the 60-minute. Look at that. Look how bullish that is. But you can bet your sweet bippy, when that thing turns bearish, you better not be long in too many charts because you're going to get punished. Maybe the 60-minute will be a little cleaner. Oh, yeah, look at that. Green, baby, green. When it's green, rock and roll. When it's red, don't be long. Real simple. And like I said, if you don't have T2123, you're not gonna care 5 minutes from now. And anyway, yeah, I don't want to make this a 2123 class. So anyway, that's why I want to put everything. It's a horse race, okay? So we buy a stock, and it's a horse race, is what it is. And there's all these other horses out there racing. So if I had a chance to go put a nail in you know, a big old nail in the hoof of my competitor's horse, I'm going to do that. If I could go put a thumbtack underneath his saddle, I'm going to do that. But you think I'm going to go do that? No way. You know why? Because I'm going to stand right next to my horse because somebody else might come do that to me. I want my horse to be in my favor. Every one of these indicators are nothing but a horse. You want them to be working with you. That's why. It's one of my horses. It's one of the tools, just like the scanner here. I can't trade until I'm given a stock to trade. And it starts with this right here. With this, I can go look at it. There it is. Do I want to trade this? Well, let's see. If it was to roll down below these lows, would you like it? The answer should be no. So now it's a matter of if everything lines up, if everything is set up for you, your tools, whatever tools you look at, then that might be the buy. And then it's about what the chart does after you buy it. You know, I'm being a little unfair there, aren't I? Let's do it this way. Green, may do that. So it might do this, you know. It might do something like that. And of course, it could do this. And that's why we have those stops on there. All right, there's that AR again, darn it. Costco, let's see what Costco, for you big spenders, that's a little expensive. Look at that. That's still rocking. Now it's a matter of how are you going to trade it? And that's what we teach in the trading room. all the time. All right. You know, I feel like I'm taking up all this time in here. Anyone have any charts you want to look at? If you throw them out, well, let's take a look at them and let's see what we can find. If you ever get a chance to go check this tool out, please do so. Yeah. All right, where are we here? Let's see. Let's see, target, RBB, target. It's not an RBB yet, but I gotta tell you, it sure looks like it's headed that way. That's a good looking chart if you ask me. I like that. I love this bottom. Here's what I really like. Let me see if I can do it this way. Here's what I really like. I like this sideways consolidation, and then I like this pop up. Boom, sideways consolidation. I love that. That's a beautiful looking chart. We're starting to roll above the trend indicator, one of my tools. There's the 50 period moving average. I would, for myself, would probably wait, but that doesn't mean it can't be bought there. I could argue a buy. So here's exactly what I'm going to do. Now, if you guys caught me, which I think maybe it's already on my watch list, and it'll certainly come up on my RBB scan when the time is right. But I flagged it here, and what I'll do is put this on my watch list. But like I say, it's probably going to come up on my scan anyway. So more than likely, when it's around a bottom breakout, and then I will look for that trade. So number one, where does it start? Now, evidently, you know, obviously, BBB there has his or her own way to find a trade. I don't know how they found it. And, you know, regardless, it doesn't matter. I have my way, and I'm going to wait till that chart is coming up on the scanner, because that's how I find charts. And then when it does, I'll make that decision based on all my other tools, whether or not I want to trade it. Dumpling, in my conversation here, have I answered your question? So anyway, thank you, BBB. Nice chart. I love it. If you're going to look at Target, you might as well look at Macy's. That's already an RBB. That was coming up on our scan. What's the other one? Kohl's. Kohl's. Hey, Kohl's is a completed RBB. There's a completed RBB. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to use that chart somewhere. I know just where. Completed RBB. There we go. Okay, where are we now? How would I trade BJDX? To start with, I never would. Not in 100,000 years. Yeah, I would get a job if this is the only charts I could look at. How's that? I wouldn't, because unless you've got some serious stones, yeah, you're gonna need a big hammer, dude. First of all, wait for a pullback. Anyway, I'm not even gonna talk about that. That's just gonna make me want to go take a shower. I don't trade those. They're just junk. AIG. AIG. Now, that's the kind of chart you want to trade right there. That's the kind of chart you make money in. These rock and roll right there. Look at that. Up, pullback. And to prove my point, let's go over here to a naked chart. So, Dumpling, I don't know if this is your first time here, second time, or third time, but what you'll learn about me is I pull no punches. And when I see garbage, I shout it out. Now, that's garbage to me. It might not be garbage to somebody else, but I'll bet you $100 that the people that continually trade that garbage aren't here this time next year. It just, It's money sucking is all it is. So, and I have no problem sharing my feelings, as you probably know. Okay, let's look at AIG. This is starting to look like a buy right here. Just like here, it started to look like a buy. Actually could have been bought right here. So let's come over here. Where am I going to find some more buys? Down here, it's being covered up. Right there could have been bought. You know, I could see where a little bit bought here, but that would have been, you can see what happened to it. What we want are these this is actually perfect right through here. We rally up right through there. That's a perfect buy. Pop up. Even on this pullback, we managed to find support, still in it, looking great. I think that's a lovely chart. So now ask yourself why you're looking at this, or why you know threw it out here. And a couple of obvious reasons. You know, you may have been watching it. For some reason you found it, you could see that it broke out. But I'll tell you, I will be hard pressed to believe that one of the reasons that you're pointing it out is because it's making a pretty good day today, a bullish engulf. This is where the scanner shines. It shows you those charts that are making those moves. They're firing up. They're getting ready. They're ready to romp-a-room. And then when they're in the chart pattern, and we can tie them into any chart pattern you want. When you tie them into a chart pattern now, like a flag maybe, or a flag breakout, or pop out of the box, or pop out of the box breakout, or whatever you look at, it can, you know, or candlestick patterns, things like that. Hiromi breakout. I mean, all that can be figured in. So the key is how you got here. How did you get here? I don't mean that to be an actual question. Excuse me. Anyway, I think that's a lovely chart. Absolutely great. Let's see. Sophie. I'm going to have to go back over here because that's my tool of choice. So I look at Sophie. I see no trade. I see no trade whatsoever. And here's what I do see. Now, we're getting toward the end. So here's something that I might do during a day on a chart. Not might. I mean, I do this a lot. I'll go to a 2-day chart, then a 3-day, then a 4-day, then a 5-day. And I'll look at the chart and see what it's doing. Because I look at the daily chart here and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And it's the price action I don't like. I can clearly see it's trending. But if I come over here to that weekly chart, I can see really all it's doing is building a J-hook. That's all it's doing, building a J-hook. So since I am a daily chart buyer, I'm looking at this and thinking, well, I'm going to need some buyers. Is it a buy now? No, I don't think so. So it's going to need some buyers. And because we have a double top, I'm thinking it's going to have to break out. Now remember, it's not where you buy that makes you money. What makes you money is what it does after you buy. So let it break out. I don't mind paying higher. Let's see what this thing can do. Let's shrink this up a little bit. Look at all that upside possibility. Here's where we'll go back to that weekly chart. Look at the upside possibility on a breakout. So anyway, that's how I'd look at the chart myself right now. Yeah. So let's see, dumb thing. I answered your question. You know, I said I'd wait till over the 50. Is frog worth considering for a long? Not till it gets a buy signal in there. No. Now, Robbie, that's one of my tools. Okay. One of my tools is knowing what works for me. And until we get a buy signal, it's not, best it could be is a watch list. So I need that buy signal. And then I'll consider buying. But while we're here, let's talk about this chart. Let's do this. No, let's do this. I'm going to get a line in here first. Right where we are. Okay. Now, let's do this. See where we popped up and failed? That's a failure. You see where we pop up and broke out? I want to ask you, do you think that was a real breakout, or just some scouts were sent out to make sure the air is breathable? Right now, it looks to me like it's just some scouts that, you know, nobody cares if they come home, just to see if the air is breathable. That's a warning sign. There's another warning sign. Yeah, it's still in a trend. It is. I don't deny that. But these are warning signs. So, on this particular chart, not only am I going to have to see a buy signal, you know, if it gets above this high, I'll take it a little serious, but I'm going to have to pay way higher for it. Let's go to a weekly chart. I'm just doing that just so we can see what's ahead of us here. Look at the bottom. Very nice bottom. If this breaks out, look at the potential. I like that potential, actually. Right there. Right in there. Right in there. I like that potential. You don't always have to buy the cheap. Okay. All right, where are we? Frog. Let's see. BB, we're going to do your first one, and that's it. 3M. Oh, that's not 3M. There we go, 3M. 3M's a rounded bottom breakout. That makes it an automatic bullish chart for me. So now it's all about setting it up for the buy. So I want to consider the market. I want to consider where we are here against the dotted deuce. I'm not sure it's a buy today for me, but I would probably do something in that neighborhood. You know, watch for the price action. Let's see, Mike. If the chart is an RBB on the weekly time frame and the pullback on the daily, do you consider the good buy even though it's a smaller bullish pin? Mike, I only trade the daily, okay? I mean, that's all I trade. You can have a rounded bottom breakout on the weekly, and if that's what you're using as your number one, and then you can go to a daily if you want to trade it. I see no problem with that at all. Okay, no problem at all. Let's see, EEM. Nice chart. Gappy for me. It's not a trade that I'll trade, but a beautiful chart. Look at that rally up, that pullback. Bulls are still there. Bulls are still working. Overall, it's trending up. That's a nice chart. It's just not for me because it's a gappy chart. I don't trade gappy charts. Just a personal thing. Would I wait for a pullback? I would wait for a better opportunity. Yeah, I'd wait for a better opportunity. And I think what I'm mostly looking at and considering is not that, I guess. We'll keep it there. I'm looking at the SPY, and I want to make sure that the SPY actually stays bullish. Consider what the Qs are doing, and I think the Qs are not doing very well right now. Consider what the diamonds are doing, which is great. I want to put all this together. FNGU is important to me, and it's not doing great at all. So I want to put all my horses behind my wagon before I trade. And 3M, here's a little, and then we're going to call it a day after this one. Here's a little rounded bottom trick for those that trade the rounded bottom breakout. Let's get rid of this. I'm going to put this line up here. This is the first real test of the dotted deuce. One of these scars I have on my back is learning this little thing right here. We're in a rounded bottom breakout. We come up to the dotted deuce for the first time. Probably not the best trade. That doesn't mean that sometimes it just doesn't. It does keep going. It happens. But I've learned overall, it's probably best to wait till it attempts that second time, even that third time. So I hope that answered your question. It should have answered your question. Okay. All right, everybody, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you so very much. Look, all your trading starts with picking out a chart. And you want to pick out winners. Pick out charts that are set up in the setups that you like. And then only look at those. Don't pay attention to the dogs out there. Who cares about the dogs that's out there? Pay attention to the winners. And you can bottle them up right here. Okay? All right, everyone, take care. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Ed, thanks for letting me hang out. See you guys all later.